But thank you again for joining us. My name is Bryce. My pronouns are he, him, and I'll be guiding everyone through our session this evening. To begin, I'd like to say a few important words. As a treaty person, I'm grateful to be able to live, work, and play on this land. Western's campus is located on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabeg, Haudenosaunee, Lenape, and Chinongton nations. These lands are connected to the London Township and Sombra Treaties of 1796 and the Dish with One Spoon Covenant Wampum. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Today, I'm joined by my co-host Ryan, as well as a number of staff and current students from several different units on campus, and of course, all of you. Welcome. Let's go through a few housekeeping items before we get going. First, this session is being recorded. It will be available on our website in about a week or so. You'll be able to find it on the same page you went to register for this event, welcome.uwo.ca/presentations. Next, live closed captioning is enabled. If you'd like to turn it on, you'll find the live transcript button on the bottom bar. Then you can choose show subtitle or view full transcript. Just remember though, this is live closed captioning, so we can't guarantee the accuracy. Next, your video and audio will remain off tonight, but that doesn't mean we won't be interacting with each other. We will have polls throughout the presentation, and we also want to answer all of your questions. You can submit a question using the Q&A box. You'll find this at the bottom of your screen. You can enter questions now or anytime throughout the presentation. Someone from Western will type an answer to you, and we'll also answer a few questions live at the end of the presentation. One quick tip about questions: try and be as specific as possible to get the best answer. So let's get started with a poll right now. If I can have my colleague Ryan launch that poll, we'd love to know where you're joining us from this evening. Are you right here in London, Ontario, elsewhere in Ontario, somewhere else in Canada, or maybe somewhere else in the world? Wonderful. We've got a pretty good mix here. Some folks joining us from all over. Thank you very much for coming. We'd also like to know who you're joining us with tonight. So are you joining by yourself? Are you flying solo? Maybe with a parent or guardian, friends, siblings? Wonderful. Well, welcome to all the attendees, the parents, guardians, siblings, friends. We're very happy you're here and excited you're joining us to learn more about Western. So let's go through the schedule for this evening. We're going to start with a welcome from Chris Elaine, Associate Vice President of Housing and Ancillary Services and Interim Associate Vice President of Student Experience. Throughout tonight's presentation, you'll hear more about what it's like to belong, learn, grow, and thrive here at Western, and even what your future could look like after you complete your degree. Chris Elaine will join us once again for some closing remarks, and then we'll all come together to answer some questions live at the end of the presentation. We hope you'll join us for the entire event, but if you can't, no worries. As I mentioned earlier, there will be a recording available on our website. There are also recordings of our previous presentations listed on our website. Once again, in the same place you signed up for this event, welcome.uwo.ca/presentations. You'll find faculty-specific presentations, residence presentations, and also our next steps presentation, which helps prepare you for starting at Western in the fall. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I will now invite Chris Elaine on screen to welcome you all to tonight's event. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, everyone. It's so exciting to see so many of you here this evening. Thanks for joining us tonight for this online presentation. My name is Chris. I am the Interim Associate Vice President for Student Experience, and I have with me tonight this amazing group of our student experience colleagues and this wonderful group of students here to speak to you about what we have to offer, how we can make your Western experience your own, and how we can support you once you get here. When you become a Western Mustang, you're supported academically and socially, both inside and outside the classroom. And we want to cover a few things so that you know how to make your year at Western and basically your next couple of years at Western sort of your own, and all of the myriad of supports and services and people that are here to support you. So whether you are looking to join an intramural club, to talking to someone about what you want to do with your career and your life, to seeking support from our wellness and well-being team, we've got you covered. So enough about me and enough from me. I'm hoping to turn it over to our amazing colleagues, hear from some of our current students about their own experiences. So let's start off hearing from Stephanie Hain-Beatty, our Director of Leadership and Learning, and Adriana, one of our current students.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie Hain-Beatty, Director of Leadership and Learning at Western. I work with a dedicated team of staff who are here to support you from the moment you're accepted to Western all the way through to graduation and beyond. We help you discover and develop your strengths, navigate academic, social, and professional transitions, and build a life and career you'll love. In first instance, we want you to know that you belong at Western. In our vibrant and diverse community, you will build friendships, find mentors, and create connections that make campus feel like home. This summer, we're offering 2 programs to introduce you to Western. First, Summer Academic Orientation, or SAO, is an online program to help you with course selection and getting to know key programs and resources. This program begins June 1st, and you can sign up for a virtual one-to-one appointment with an advisor or attend a virtual faculty-based workshop. Second, Community Connections is an in-person program that welcomes you and your guests to campus to meet fellow students, staff, and faculty and get a feel for what it's like to be a Mustang. There are 6 dates available in July and August, 3 of which have an overnight option to give you an experience of living in residence. When you join us this fall, we hope you'll participate in our orientation programming, leadership workshops, and student mentorship initiatives. All of them are designed to support you in finding people and places that help you thrive. Let's hear from Adriana about her experiences as a Western student and student leader.
Hello everyone, my name is Adriana and I'm graduating with an honors specialization in health sciences with biology. Throughout my time at Western, I learned to lean on the supports made available by the university and specifically those through student experience. Furthermore, I sought out some jobs on campus, such as helping as a research assistant, which later allowed me to seek out a supervisor for my own independent study thesis I did in my 4th year. I also worked as a hockey official for Western intramural teams and met many people there as well. I joined some clubs of interest to me and tried to grow as a student in my first year and beyond by participating in things like academic workshops offered by Student Experience and the Leadership and Academic Mentorship Program, both as a mentee and a mentor. I found LANT to be particularly rewarding as I developed connections with upper year students in my faculty early on that helped me learn to thrive in my 1st and 2nd year. Then in my 3rd and 4th years, I became a mentor myself and was able to extend the same compassion and helpfulness with new Western students. This is also my 4th year as a part of the Summer Academic Orientation team, and I'm so excited to be back as this has allowed me to feel a sense of belonging within the greater Western community, as I was able to connect with staff and faculty. Being a part of SAO taught me a lot about the university and myself, and as one of the student coordinators for SAO, I am able to connect with other students and help them to establish the basis of a successful academic career and found new personal relationships right from the start. It's here where I also met many close friends and wonderful colleagues as well. In my 3rd year, I went on an impact experience led by Student Experience to the Dominican Republic, where we helped to teach English to school children, and that was an incredibly rewarding event of my undergraduate career. Suffice to say, Student Experience has played a large role in my academic journey at Western, and I'm so thankful for these memories. Ultimately, during my 1st year, I did feel pressure, as I'm sure many of you do, to connect with new people and friends, and I worried it might be difficult on such a large campus, and I was also an off-campus student. However, I quickly learned that at Western, I would soon find close friends, colleagues, and peers that would make my undergraduate career that much better. At Western, I met new people that would become my roommates for 2 years, with whom we'd continue close friendships afterwards, my long-term partner, and even reconnected with friends from high school who also attended Western. Looking back, I've really enjoyed my years at Western, and I know that the supports and opportunities made available to me really made these memories I will cherish forever. If there's one thing you will take away from today, it's that you will find new friends and a community to lean on here. Thank you for attending, and I'm happy to help with any further questions at the end of the presentation.
Thank you very much, Stephanie, and thank you very much, Adriana, for sharing your experiences with us. As you can see, the chat is open for questions, so if you have any, feel free to pop them in the Q&A box now. As you can see from Adriana's experiences, there are many diverse ways to make connections and build a strong community when you become a Western Mustang. We know the transition to university is exciting, but it can also be a little bit scary. So let's do a quick check-in. If I can have Ryan launch that poll, we'd like to know, how are you feeling about starting university? Are you excited, happy, nervous? Maybe it's a little overwhelming. Some of you might be ready to start today. All right, so a little bit of a mix of emotions, and that's okay. That's usually what we see when students are making that transition. I know when I was preparing to go to university, I felt a combination of all of these emotions, but have no fear. When you join the Western community, you'll be supported from day one. Stephanie's going to join us again here to tell us a little bit more about all the ways you're supported throughout your academic journey here at Western. Welcome.
In addition to all the transition programs that will help you settle in and make the most of your time at Western, we want you to know that your learning will be supported. While university learning is different than high school learning, what hasn't changed are the resources available to help you succeed. From professors to academic advisors to peer leaders and the staff I work with, everyone at Western wants you to be successful. Our office offers 3 key types of support. The Learning Support Team offers one-to-one appointments and presentations on topics like creating effective learning habits, time management strategies, writing multiple choice tests, and managing test anxiety. They also have a drop-in center staffed by trained peers that offers free course-specific help. Our Writing Support Team helps you enhance your academic writing skills via one-to-one appointments, online learning modules, and workshops on topics like overcoming writer's block, writing in the sciences, referencing your paper, and writing essay exams. Finally, our Accessible Education Team offers support to students with disabilities in all programs and faculties at Western. This support includes accommodations for assignments and exams, assistive technologies, interpretation and note-taking services, and programming that connects students with the full range of campus life. One of the common things we hear from students is that they wish they had accessed these services earlier in their degree. So from the moment you say yes to Western, we are here to support your learning, and we look forward to seeing you succeed. I'm pleased to introduce Havina to chat about her experiences in navigating Western's learning supports.
Hi everyone, my name is Havina and I'm in my final year at Western. Throughout the last few years, I have been supported by Western in my academic success. There are so many resources available to you depending on what it is that you need, but I'm going to talk a little bit today about the experiences and the resources that helped me the best. Post-secondary education can be super daunting and super intimidating, and that's why I think it's so important to know what resources are available to you so that you can succeed and feel supported. I personally found the most help with accessible education. They helped me get any accommodations that I needed so I could succeed in my academics without feeling stressed or pressured. The process is super easy. Just send them an email in regards to what type of support you're looking for, and from there onwards, you'll meet with an advisor. I have worked with plenty of advisors over the years at Accessible Education, and I can tell you they're all amazing. I started off by sitting down with one of the advisors and explaining to them where I thought I was struggling. We talked about the different types of accommodations and tailored them to my needs. For example, I personally find it difficult to concentrate during exams. It takes me a few extra minutes per question to really get a grasp for what the question is asking me. Therefore, my advisor and I discussed what a reasonable amount of time was needed for my exams. With just that one accommodation on my exams, I was able to perform to my potential. Another great resource provided by Accessible Education is accommodated exams, where you can write your exams in a separate quiet room if that's what you think is most comfortable for you. They also helped me connect with other supports like the Learning Development Center. I had an advisor at the Learning Development Center who met with me on a bi-weekly basis to find resources and build strategies. Some of the strategies included time management, stress management, and productive scheduling. We would also talk about other resources that help me study and focus because I in fact have ADHD. I remember this one specific time when I was meeting with my learning development advisor and we were discussing studying strategies for online learning. She introduced me to the Pomodoro technique, which is basically a guided study routine. You can search up Pomodoro sessions on YouTube where you study along with the creator of the video. When they study, you study, and when they take a break, you also take a break. It helps to simulate a study environment like you would have at a library or a cafe, especially if you're struggling to study at home without others surrounding you. This study strategy really helped me work through the challenges of online learning throughout the pandemic. So, my advice to you is reach out. Be proactive and reach out to any of the resources that are available to you on campus. Even if you're not sure about what you're struggling with, or even if you're not sure if you need any resources at all. Sometimes it's hard to admit that you need help or guidance, but remember, these resources are used by many students and they were created to help you. My first year of university was super scary because I was navigating a new challenge in life. But everything changed when I decided to make the decision and reach out and get help. Through connecting with Accessible Education, I was able to find so many resources that further helped me in my academic career. And at this time, I would like to take a moment to thank everyone at Accessible Education and the Learning Development Center for being so supportive and kind and encouraging over the years. They were always so understanding and friendly. You really felt like you had a team working behind you, and I think that's a very special thing. So whatever your academic journey looks like, remember that these support systems with Western student experience are here to guide you through it. Anyways, good luck, students.
Thank you very much, Stephanie and Havina, for walking us through all the supports and programs to help students succeed here at Western. It's nice to know that at Western, you are never alone and there's always someone there willing to help. From these types of support services to opportunities to get involved with student clubs, groups, and teams, we really do offer a variety of programs and services to help you find ways to belong, learn, and grow at Western. Here to tell us a little bit more about some of the opportunities to grow through sport and recreation is Christine Stapleton, Western's Director of Sport and Recreation. Take it away.
Hello there, my name is Christine Stapleton, and I'm the Director of Sport and Recreation here at Western University. Western Sport and Recreation provides a broad spectrum of high-level athletic program opportunities. We offer a flexible sports structure that includes opportunities for all students to participate in different ways, including trying out and competing for OUA championships, youth sports championships, and affiliations to provincial sport organizations, which offer recognition opportunities at the league, provincial, and national championship level. In addition, we offer extensive recreation programming that promotes emotional, mental, physical, and social, and overall well-being through participation in active living. By participating in programming such as fitness classes, workouts, recreation clubs, personal training, and more, students are encouraged to create and maintain a healthy lifestyle, which can lead to increased self-confidence and improved stress management. Western Sport and Recreation also focuses on building tradition, which helps to create memories and foster school spirit. We work closely with Western and the local community to make connections, encourage student involvement, school spirit, and offer experiential learning opportunities for students, deliver spirited programming and events, and encourage collaboration and entrepreneurship. For more information on everything Mustangs, visit westernmustangs.ca.
Hi, my name is Janie Lau, and I'm going into my third year of health sciences at Western University. During my first year of university, it was fully online due to the pandemic. So when they announced that for second year, we'd return back to kind of normal and have stuff on in person and on campus, I decided I would get involved to meet more people and just get involved with the campus more. So because of this, I thought that the best way to do that was to find a job on campus. And so during the pandemic, I actually picked up weightlifting and stuff. So I knew how important the gym and working out was to my mental health and de-stressing. So that's when I thought I would apply to work for the Western Student Recreation Center so that I could be part of everyone's kind of university experience. So for the past year, so during my second year, I worked on the membership services team as an associate, where we were like greeting people, just like doing all the vaccine checks, checking people in for their appointments and everything. And then at the end of my first year of working there, I got promoted to shift leader. So I'm currently working as a shift leader throughout the summer and will continue to do so into the fall. So if you ever see me there, feel free to say hi. And I think that working at the campus rec has been really great for like just experience and just exposure to like different people on campus. And the team that I work with is really awesome. Like I've made a lot of friends through it, as well as my supervisors have always been very supportive, and they're always there to make sure that you kind of have everything that you need to succeed in school and in work. And I would highly recommend like working on campus, specifically at the rec, since it's just a great experience to have. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or anything like that. And I hope I see you at the campus rec.
Hi there, I'm Joan Xiao Chen. I recently completed my 5 years of integrated engineering at Western and competed on the varsity swim team. So I'm here to talk a bit about my experiences being a Western student athlete and how I got involved with some of the opportunities on campus. So there are many factors that I considered when picking university. This included residence options, distance from home, things like that. But in the end, it really just came down to two reasons that sold me on Western: the academic program and whether I saw myself fitting in with the school and the swim team culture. So I chose Western not only for its facilities and beautiful campus, but because it really embraces a culture of excellence and support. And this isn't only in the athletic area, but also when it comes to academic and leadership development. We have access to so many resources for student athletes like myself, and there's always someone to turn to if we have questions or problems. We get access to things like grad student tutors, study hall, physiotherapy, massage, mentorship, and so much more. And sport has kind of a unique, amazing ability to unite people and foster school spirit. So being a student athlete is an extremely rewarding experience, in my opinion. And every opportunity that I got to represent the purple and white was an honor. But of course, it also has its challenges. Juggling school, full-time course load with the busy practice schedule and competition schedule can be very tiring, but at the end of it, I got to develop my time management skills, learn how to study efficiently. I figured out what the best strategies to take care of my physical and mental health are. I built resiliency and learned to fight back from things like bad races and injuries. So aside from the athletic side, one of my most memorable experiences from my time at Western was being a part of the Mustangs Athlete Student Council, or MASC for short. I joined in my second year, and immediately I was drawn in by how passionate and dedicated everyone was. And this past year, I had the pleasure of serving as MASC president. So I helped facilitate some big changes to improve the student athlete experience for all Mustangs. We established mandatory training on important topics, including gender-based violence prevention and anti-racism, and also found ways to help uplift our community morale given the uncertainties and setbacks of the pandemic. As well, student athletes have a really unique university experience, so being a part of this group made me feel extremely welcome and encouraged, meeting people who had similar lifestyles and goals as myself. And so this group, MASC, represents and advocates for all of the Western student athletes, and there are about 1,200 of us, and we organize initiatives in areas including leadership and professional development, social events, community volunteering, and we also have two amazing subcommittees that work to provide better support for Mustangs, which are the Student Athlete Mental Health Initiative and the Varsity EDI Committee. So if you have any question on anything that I said, let me know. And if you want to learn more about what it's like to be a Western student athlete, you can visit our website or social media pages. Go Mustangs!
Hi everyone, my name is Fedi, and I've been at Western for about 10 years now. And today I wanted to share a little bit more about my journey and my story throughout those 10 years, and how I ended up where I am today. I came to Western from a small town in rural Nova Scotia. It was a big change for me coming to a big school like Western. There were more people in my residence in first year than there were in my entire high school, and I had a hard time adjusting to those big changes. I ended up taking a year off after first year to work a bit and evaluate whether I wanted to continue at Western or even with university altogether. Eventually, I decided to go back to university, but I also had a change of mindset. I was going to get the most out of my experience wherever I went. And ultimately, of course, I decided to come back to Western. Here's 2 quick stories I wanted to share with you today about why I know I made the right choice about coming back to Western. I'm a very competitive person and I love sports. I like exercising, but I'd rather get fit while playing sports. I'm not so eager to go for a run just for the sake of running. I played varsity rugby at Western, but our season is in the fall and it's very short. So I started joining intramural leagues in the winter to fill up a little bit of my time, keep up with my fitness, and meet new people as well. I had a different group of friends for each team, and I ended up playing a variety of sports from basketball to soccer, flag football, and even inter to water polo. At the end of my intramural career, I ended up winning quite a few purple shirts, not to brag. And sure, I like winning, but now I realize it was much more than that. I made so many great friendships by being involved, and for me, it was through our intramurals program. But there are many other programs on campus that will allow you to meet people with your similar interests. Now, my second story is about how I ended up where I am today. I didn't have scholarships to help me with tuition costs, so I had to work to help pay for school. When I was in third year, I was very lucky to get hired at the rec center. I worked as a weight room staff, and I worked a lot. But aside from the money, I met so many great people, some of whom I still talk to today. Since then, I've worked at almost every department at the rec center. I taught group fitness lessons, I was a referee for intramurals, I worked as a camp counselor for Sport Western during the summers, and also was the assistant coordinator for our recreational sport clubs program. And lucky for me, that job has now turned into a full-time position as the program coordinator for our recreational sport clubs. I now overlook 18 different sport clubs offered for students at Western, like triathlon, curling, equestrian, and martial arts clubs like karate and taekwondo. And you can find a whole list of the clubs we offer on our website. But what I'm really trying to say is that even though working at the rec center started as a job and has now really led me to begin my professional career, it also allowed me to meet so many great people. I have so many great experiences and memories from my time at the rec center, which really helped shape my amazing time at Western. And now I want to give back by providing opportunities for new students to create their own memories, meet new people, and get the best of their student experience. These are some of my experiences and memories from my time at Western. Thank you all for listening, and I look forward to answering any questions you may have during our Q&A.
Thank you very much, Christine, Joan Xiao, and Fedi, for providing us with a glimpse of student life on campus. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to attend these events and cheer on our Mustangs in September. Or maybe you're ready to try out for a sports team or intramural yourself. Let's take another quick poll. Do you plan on getting involved with sports and recreation here at Western? We got some folks saying yes, for sure. Others saying, not so sure about it. And maybe some folks still thinking about it. That's okay. You've got plenty of time to figure out. But as Fedi and Joan Xiao shared there, lots of opportunities to get involved, meet new people, create new friendships and new relationships, and of course, take care of yourself at the same time. If the thought of getting involved with extracurricular activities, in addition to your studies, finding time to get together with friends and family, and everything else you have going on in your life has you feeling a little bit overwhelmed, have no fear. We have an amazing team dedicated to helping you thrive here at Western. Here to tell us a bit more about the services offered through Western is our Wellness and Wellbeing Division, Dr. Terry McQuaid. Welcome, Terry.
Hi, I'm Dr. Terry McQuaid, Director of Wellness and Wellbeing here at Western. Welcome. Some of you may be wondering what wellness is. Well, wellness includes wellness and equity education, student support and case management, as well as health services.
Here in Wellness and Wellbeing, we have conversations with the students to find out what their individual needs are and planning an individual plan to help them succeed here at Western, both in the classroom and outside of the classroom. We've recently moved to a brand new space, a Wellness and Equity Hub, where you can have a one-stop shop for all your service needs related to wellness, healthcare, and support. We serve thousands of students every year, and two of those students, Maggie from the Faculty of Education and Seamus from Arts and Humanities, are with us here today.
Hello everyone, my name is Maggie. So currently I'm a master's student in the Faculty of Education. I'm also an international student. So moving to another country to study is a big transition to me, and I have experienced some difficulties related to my personal and professional life. I started to get anxious about the things that have not happened yet, and I started to have sleeping difficulties and loss of appetite. Then I realized this is the time to seek some professional help from the school, and then I seek out to the wellness center. I found out as a Western student, you can book individual counseling appointment for free for the first time. So I booked the appointment. Actually, I got pretty anxious about my first appointment since English is my second language. I'm afraid I cannot express myself clearly to the counselor. Like there will be some language barriers and cultural differences among our conversation. That would be a pretty embarrassing session. However, it turns out pretty good. My counselor was very nice and understanding. I didn't feel any pressure among our conversation, and I also learned some common misconceptions about counseling, like psychologists, they cannot read your mind, they are not mind reader. And so my counselor recommended me to join the graduate student support group, and it was a great experience for me to be a member of the group. So each week we have different topics to discuss about. For example, like in this week, we are going to discuss about the stress, and next week we are going to discuss about the resilience. And through sharing our own experience and coping mechanism, we can better connect with each other and learn from each other. And I learned about that I'm not the only one dealing with these issues. Like all the people in that group, they all have the same feelings and thoughts, despite of the age, gender, culture, nationality of the people. And it's just like talking with your friends in the session. I also made a few friends after the session. I also learned some strategies to regulate my own emotions. I would say just try to treat your emotional problems just like a physical wound. It's like you cut your fingers by accident. If you don't put a bandage on your wound, it will just keep bleeding. And it is pretty normal to have back pain or diabetes, stomachache. It's also normal to have emotional problems as a university student. I would say you are pretty lucky at Western because you got a whole team and community work together to help you solve the problem to achieve individual goals. So if you need some support, please don't hesitate to reach out to the wellness and well-being services because they are here to help. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Seamus. I'm a student here at Western University. I study English language and French language and literature. I have been here at Western for a few years now. I have my undergraduate degree and I'm just finishing up a French diploma. And over my years here, I have accessed quite a few different services that are offered by the health and well-being services here at Western. The people here are all really sweet, and I always feel that they genuinely want you to succeed, which is really wonderful and makes me want to stay here at Western. So I first accessed the services of health and wellness here at Western in my first year. I had tried acclimating on my own and, sort of hoping to leave any mental health struggles that I had in my hometown. But with the stress of school, I ended up needing to reach out for help, and I wasn't sure where to go. But a great thing about Western is that all of the health services are sort of interconnected. So I went to a physical health doctor, And I sort of explained what I was going through, you know, that like I was anxious, and I sort of explained my symptoms, and they listened to me, and they didn't make me feel rushed or anything, which really makes a difference. And that doctor was actually able to give me a referral to go see a psychiatrist as well as a psychologist. And it really began my journey towards healing. At the time, I didn't have a diagnosis, but I have been living with OCD, which is a bit of a struggle sometimes. And with the health and wellness services here at Western, I have been able to learn coping strategies as well as different ways to sort of learn with the way that my brain works and how to drive my neurodivergent brain. And as I said, all of the people who lead these services have all been so wonderful, and I feel as though they really cared about my success, and that made me care about my success. And so I really recommend for anyone who's struggling or who feels as though they could use a hand with their physical health or their mental health, definitely check out the services here at Western. There are physical health services as well as mental health services. And I feel as though coming to Western really changed my life because of the care I was able to access here. There is actually a trans care team here at Western, which I haven't seen anywhere else, so that's pretty cool. It's run by doctors and psychologists and psychiatrists, and they focus on the health of trans and gender diverse students here at Western. And I have been able to explore my identity through group work and work one-on-one with a counselor and sort of really find comfort in who I am and work with my brain to succeed here at Western. And I feel very proud to be who I am, and I am very grateful for the services I've been able to access here at Western. And I definitely recommend that you guys check it out. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you very much to our Director of Wellness and Wellbeing, Dr. Terry McQuaid, Seamus, and Maggie for helping us better understand all the services and programs that are available to support students to thrive at Western. We greatly appreciate you sharing your stories with us. I can also attest that the brand new facility at Thames Hall is fantastic. All things health and wellness are located conveniently under one roof. It's comforting to know that wellness and well-being is a priority, and there's a community to support students' individual needs to succeed. Let's go with one more poll. Earlier tonight, we did a quick poll and asked how you were feeling about coming to university. After hearing about these opportunities to get involved and supports and programs, how are you feeling now? All right, wonderful. So still a few folks feeling a little nervous or overwhelmed. That is completely normal. Like I said, that's how I felt when I was heading off to university, but I hope you can see that there are plenty of supports available to assist you no matter what you need at Western. I know our team here behind the scenes, if they were able to cast their vote, they would say they are very excited and ready for you to get started here at Western in the fall. We truly believe your future starts here at Western, and here to tell us more about that is Stephanie Hain-Beatty.
Earlier I mentioned we support students through to graduation and beyond. We're going to finish tonight on the beyond. At Western, our goal is to help you build a meaningful life and career. What does that mean? It means we understand that what each of you dreams about for your future is different. You all have goals and aspirations, interests, strengths, and activities that bring you joy. We consider it our job to learn about who you are and what you want for your life. then to share some of the best tools and strategies we have to help you get there. Our team in the Careers and Experience Office is made up of career coaches, employer relationship developers, and experiential learning coordinators. When I told them about this event, I asked them, what do you want me to make sure these students understand about our work? And here's what they said. 1, visit us early and often for support throughout your degree. Don't wait until the final term of 4th year when you're feeling panicked about what's next. 2, the learning you do outside the classroom is just as important as the learning you do inside the classroom. 3, you do not need to have it all figured out right now. Some of us are still figuring out what we want to be when we grow up. 4, your degree doesn't lead to one career, doesn't even lead to 100 different careers. It can take you to any career you can think of, some you don't know about, and others that don't even exist yet. And 5, students in all faculties have opportunities for experiential learning, internship, co-op, practicum, project-based learning. These experiences can help you explore potential career paths and design a future that excites you.
Thank you very much, Stephanie, for these helpful tips and showing us all the great options that are available to help students shape their future. After hearing about all these great opportunities, we'd like to finish off our night with 2 more polls. So, what are you most looking forward to at Western? Is it making new friends, playing sports, maybe participating in an internship, studying abroad, or volunteering? Wonderful. A lot of our friends are saying they would like to make new friends, but I probably should have added an all the above option there, because many students will do many things from this list when they become students here at Western, maybe all of them. So good to know you are excited and looking forward to joining us in the fall. And that leads me into our last poll of the evening. Do you know if you will be joining us here at Western this fall? Maybe it's yes, you've made your decision, you can't wait to get here. Wonderful. Awesome. Well, we're really excited to have you. If you're still waiting or making your decision, that is A-OK. Quick reminder, if you are an Ontario student, you have that June 1st deadline to accept your offer. Make sure you're heading to OUAC and accepting that offer tomorrow on June 1st. So thank you very much for all of your participation this evening. Before we get to some live Q&A, I'd like to welcome Chris Elaine back on screen for some closing remarks.
Thanks very much, Bryce. And thanks so much to all of our presenters and students for sharing their stories and experiences. Friends at home, I hope you are excited and as blown away as I am by the opportunities that sort of you have to make your Western experience your own. Hearing and sort of reflecting on what I heard this evening, certainly if there's some tips, sort of ask for help. And I think sort of this ability to normalize some of that. We ask for help in many different ways every single day. And I think when you're here at Western, I think every student who comes to Western deals with some speed bumps along the way, whether it's something academic that, sort of has, might have been a mark that they're not, as happy with. It might be struggling through some personal challenges. Sort of we know that throughout your time at Western, there's going to be challenges, and that's completely normal. And everyone's gone through it, and everyone around you is probably either having gone through it or dealt with something sort of previous. So, if there's a takeaway, you've heard from your students, ask for help. I think it's just a normal thing to do, and to take full advantage of all the services that you have. We have, sort of besides sort of the programs and services that we provided today, I think what, sort of we haven't talked so much about is just this community of care. And this community of students that you all sort of end up meeting, whether it's living in residence and getting to know sort of the people who live on your floor, or joining one of our 200+ clubs on campus and sort of sharing, sort of those interests with people who have those same sort of passions as you do, or you're participating in sort of, so campus recreation in one of the intramural clubs, there's always going to be these sort of social connections that you begin to develop. And I think you being able to help your colleagues and friends, sort of connect them to, sort of campus services that you've tried, or you may hear from some of your friends as well that, hey, I spoke to this counselor, they were really helpful with whatever. I think sort of the takeaway is take full advantage of sort of everything that we have to offer, and ask for help. Sort of the possibilities for you to learn and grow at Western are limitless, and we're here to support you every step of the way. And it starts tomorrow. It starts actually sort of the minute you say yes, that you're coming to Western. So starting June 1st, our team is available to help you with course selection, to answer your questions about any of the supports and services, sort of so that you feel confident heading to Western before your first day of class. So summer academic orientation, sort of you can either sign up for a virtual or in-person appointment starting now. You also may have heard and seen and noticed in one of the questions sort of a program that we have that really supports your sense of belonging, our Thriving Foundations. Our Thriving Foundations is a set of events and programs that begins with summer academic orientation and your course selection. But we also invite you to come onto campus in July and August for community connections. And community connections is either a 1-day or a 2-day sort of in-person session where you can come with one of your loved ones, learn about campus life. Parents and guardians sort of go into one room, and we take all the students to another room, and you basically spend a day or two with other peers and mentors to basically show you the ropes and to get you all excited about sort of what's to come, campus tours. Sort of we're going to do some learning as well, so you can learn a little bit more about yourself and your strengths to prepare you for the year. And we will even, for those interested, put you up in residence so you start to get a sense of what the residence experience feels like, eating in a dining hall, potentially having a roommate. So some really important, I think, sort of opportunities and experiences for you to experience sort of this summer with Community Connections. So Community Connections is now open. We'll be sure to send you the link following the presentation, but you can also check out all of our information at thrivingfoundations.uwo.ca. So we certainly hope that our presentation today showed you that Western, when you're at Western, you're never alone. We hope that, and it looks like many of you have accepted your offer already, so we cannot wait to welcome you to campus over the summer, and we're ready to work with you to make your Western experience your own. So I'll turn it back over now to Bryce, because now it's the exciting live Q&A portion of the evening. There have been some great questions that we've received so far, but we have a whole bunch of students and staff members here who will be able to jump in and share sort of all of their expertise with you about their experiences and supports that are available. So back to you, Bryce.
Thank you very much, Chris. So yeah, as Chris mentioned, a lot of you have been asking questions throughout the event tonight. We've had some great ones come in, but we do have some time left for a couple live questions. So if you haven't asked something just yet, you've got a burning question, by all means, pop it in the Q&A box there. I'll invite all of our wonderful volunteers, staff, students to come back on screen now, and I will start fielding some of those questions as they come in. I do have one, maybe to get the ball rolling, and this is to maybe some of our current or past students. So first off, we may have some folks in the audience today that are making that transition from grade 12 to university. Some of you mentioned that in your stories, making that jump. Do you have any advice for those that are feeling a little bit overwhelmed or a little nervous about making that jump from grade 12 to university? I'll open the
I can
floor and
go
then,
first. Oh, okay.
yes, but sorry, by all means, yes, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, so I would say the most important thing is just to remember that you're not alone in this whole process. There are thousands of high school students feeling the exact same way as you. And like you've heard today, there's so many people on Western campus, probably back home supporting you as well. So just don't be afraid to ask questions. Especially when you're coming into university, you'll find, at least my experience is that at least in the first few weeks, like everyone is just trying to meet new people, everyone's exchanging names and just trying to encourage each other no matter where you meet people. So it doesn't matter if you're from completely opposite sides of the country, studying different programs, different residences. Everyone's just here to enjoy their time, learn as much as they can, meet new people, and have new amazing experiences. So just, I guess, try to, boost your confidence a little and enjoy the whole process. Like, don't try to overthink things and don't be afraid to reach out.
Thank you very much. Yes, that's fantastic advice. I'll open up the floor to anyone else who'd like to add, or maybe if they have some different pieces of advice to pass along to our student attendees.
Yeah, I'll go next. So I have a distinct memory of like the first week of university. I was a very introverted person, very shy, and I was really scared about, like going from high school where I knew everybody to all of a sudden this big campus that's beautiful and just there's people walking around everywhere. But I remember I made a choice the day before classes started to just go on campus and see if I could meet new people. And I got on I was walking to my bus stop and there was somebody just sitting there waiting and they were wearing like a Western attire. And I thought to myself, okay, you know what? This is my first person that I get to talk to. And so she kind of looked at me too and she was smiling and she asked me, are you going to campus? Are you brand new? And all of that stuff. And we got to know each other. And she actually offered to give me a little tour of the campus. So we took the bus down to Western together and we're still friends till this day. But she encouraged me and she told me, like, I've been at Western for 2 years now. And I wish that more people would come and ask me questions because I can answer all of it for them. Because I myself was brand new and I didn't know where anything was and I didn't talk to anybody and I was nervous and very intimidated. So like I wish more first year students would ask. So my advice to you is go around the campus, just walk around. If you see students, go up to them and be like, hey, I'm brand new. I'm from here. I'm going to be studying this course or I'm at this residence or whatever it is. Do you have any tips for me? Or can I ask you a question? Or, can I just get to know you? And I can promise you that every student will say yes. And even now as a final year student, I hope that first year students come and ask me questions. Even if you're not in first year, it doesn't matter. But I would say that's my one advice, because I can say that my friend and I both really reminisce on that one experience. And it was just a small little interaction. We literally just made eye contact at the bus stop. And I hadn't even gone to Western yet. So it was really special to me and I still remember it 4 years later. So that's my advice.
Thank you very much for sharing that advice and that story. So yeah, especially if you see Havina out there, flag her down and ask her, how to get to this class, how do I get to this residence? So yeah, ask those questions. We have a very supportive community here at Western, both our students and our staff as well, that are willing to help you find whatever it is you're looking for. So I would like to tweak the question a little bit because we've had one that has just come in for our students again. What do you think the biggest hurdle is that most first year students face? So the biggest challenge that you might face in first year, and then maybe how you overcame that challenge.
I can start off again. I don't know if the other students on this call have similar experiences, but for me, I think the biggest challenge or adjustment that I had to make was going from a schedule that was pretty much made for me in high school, where it was like, for example, 8 to 3 o'clock, everyone does the same thing and you go home and you have a set of activities. And when you're in university, there's a lot more flexibility and self-direction. There isn't really like a teacher or a guidance counselor watching over your shoulder, making sure that you're eating all your meals, that you're getting enough sleep, that sort of thing. So it does take a little bit of adjustment, I would say, to kind of find the right routine for yourself and make sure that you're taking care of your physical, mental health while getting all of the things done that you need to. But, again, like there's so many people in the same situation as you. Some probably have more cooking skills or cleaning skills than you in your residence. So meeting new people who you can kind of learn from and kind of, get through this challenging or adjustment period together, I think is really beneficial. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joan Xiao. That was fantastic to share with the students. And I like what you said about getting to know other folks in your residence, maybe, like you said, learning skills from them that maybe you don't have. I know I could have used a few cooking lessons when I was in first year, but it took me a little while to adjust. But excellent point there. I'll open it up. Maybe if we have one more student that would like to share maybe what their biggest hurdle was in first year and then how they got over that hurdle.
Well, I can jump in next because for me, I'm an international student, so it's so hard to move to another country and adapt to a different culture. So for me, it is so hard to build friendships with other students, with my peers, and also I'm a graduate student, and it's sort of not course-based. So for me, it's so difficult to make friends from other disciplines. And so one of the biggest advice for the freshmen, I would say, just join many clubs or committees as much as possible. So right now I'm a member of International Graduate Student Issues Committee of SOX. So in that committee, I find a sense of belonging. So I got to connect with international students from different countries, from other disciplines. So in that committee, we organize different social events for all of the international students, and we advocate the interest for the students. So in this way, it is easier to build connection with other students. So I basically find a home in that committee. So that's my advice for all of the freshmen, for the new students.
Thank you very much, Maggie. Yes, getting involved, and then that can kind of help you get over some of those challenges by meeting other people who are maybe facing the same challenges as you, and learning from them and getting through things together, building those relationships. So thank you very much for sharing that. We'll get to a couple other questions here. I'll open this up to the whole panel, but let's say a student is interested in playing a varsity sport here at Western. Is there anything they should do before getting here in the fall? Do they reach out to coaches? What would be your advice for someone that is interested in playing a sport here at Western?
I can answer that, Bryce. You're right. Most important thing is to get into contact with the coaches. If you go to our westernmustangs.ca site, there's a staff directory that gives you all the contact information for the coaches, and you want to let them know that you're coming. Some of the fall sports that start at the end of August, so it might require you coming into residence early. So, but the most important thing is to let the coach know that you are coming so they can prepare for you. So thanks for the question.
Thank you very much. Yeah, get in touch early, head to the website there and reach out to the coaches. Wonderful. Let's see, a couple other questions coming in here. Oh, here's a good question. So do you get to choose your professors and what time that you might have a course at? Is there a lot of flexibility there? I'm not sure if it changes, but is that something you get to choose?
I can jump in on this one with the SAO experience that I have. I'd say it doesn't necessarily mean you can't always pick a professor. So it depends on if multiple professors are offering the course or teaching that course. So sometimes you might have options, but typically if it's just one professor, you can choose based on date and time as well that fits within your schedule.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And I know typically when we're talking about course selection, we want to make sure you get in those required courses first, and then you can choose your electives. And yeah, it depends what courses are offered, what different sections there are. You might have a lecture at one time, and then you're going through and you have many options to choose when you might have a lab or something like that. So definitely varies course to course and how many sections are offered. So thank you very much, Adriana. All right, we'll take a couple more here. Here's a good one. So what kind of orientation activities would take place and when typically do students move in if they're living in residence?
I can start maybe this question, and maybe another student can help tag team kind of the orientation related activities, but certainly with moving into residence, we'll send you a bunch of information over the summer. For those interested in planning to live in residence, don't forget that this Friday is the deadline for your residence deposit. So make sure that that is submitted. A really common question, as well as kind of, sort of not only sort of when to move in, but also how do I get assigned my residence? I really want to live in X building. I'll start off by saying everyone has an incredible experience, no matter what building they live in. The same amenities, the same events and programs and supports are in place no matter what building you live in. But I do understand that sometimes people have preferences. So what we do is when you complete your residence application, we do ask you to rank all 10 of our residence buildings from most desired to least desired. And we basically take everyone's, right? We have about 6,000 students who all have varying degrees of preferences. We throw everyone's name in a hat and we start drawing names out of the hat. When I get to your name, I look at choice number 1. And if that residence is full, I'll move down to choice number 2. And if that residence full, is full, I'll move down to choice number 3. And if choice number 3 is available, you get choice number 3. So it's the most fair way for us to actually place everyone in all of our buildings. So we guarantee you a spot in one of our buildings, but not necessarily a specific one. But, I think if you, sort of hear from and speak to any of our students, sometimes they're a little trepidatious about a certain, residence that they didn't really rank high. And after the first week, absolutely love it, because it's not about the bricks and mortar. It's about the people, and it's about the community, and it's about the events and sort of the connections that you make. That's what really makes the difference with your residence experience. Residences, sort of the move-in process is typically over a period of a few days. So normally it's, we look at the long weekend of September, and that Monday, and sort of the weekend that lead up to that, usually it's the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, Labor Day Monday. There's a 3 to 4 day move-in period, and we ask everyone to basically sign up for a specific date and time that works for them online, and all that information is sent over the summer. So that's kind of a piece about residences, but I think that there's probably someone who'd be really excited to share about, some of the different activities that you see, I think, at the beginning of the year with orientation.
I could go again if no one else wants to take this question. So I had my orientation week 4 or 5 years ago, but that was pre-COVID. But I think the biggest thing is that there's a theme of just welcoming you to all the different spaces that Western has to offer, and you get introduced to a bunch of different departments, activities, groups of people. So I remember one of the days was residence focused. So we spent the day touring our residence building, learning about some of the resources, meeting some of the staff members. And there's also a residence rally, I think. There were some cheerleaders performing. I can't remember the details, but that was one full day theme. And then the next day was faculty day. So I was in engineering. So we had a tour of the engineering buildings, met some professors. We had kind of like a design competition, I think it maybe was a bridge, something like that, just to get people to meet each other and get a taste of what it's like to be a part of the faculty and meet some of the upper year orientation leaders who are all really welcoming, and they're there to answer questions. And then also throughout the week, you do get to go to some classes, like your own classes, and then in the evenings, there are events like concerts or trivia nights, karaoke. I think there's a talent show as well somewhere in that week. So yeah, there's a whole range of activities you can be a part of. I don't think it's possible to attend every single one because there are literally that many to choose from, but there's always kind of something out there for you if you want to go explore. And then I think on the final day, everyone is invited to take part in a charity day as well, which is, I think, something really unique about Western that makes you feel like we're having a real impact in the community and in the surrounding areas. But yeah, my memory is not the sharpest. It was a few years ago, so.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Joan Xiao, for sharing that with us. It sounds like there is a lot going on, something for everyone, and you can kind of tailor that experience to what suits you best. And thank you, Chris, as well, for that detailed breakdown of how rooms are assigned in residence. And as Chris mentioned, you will be receiving more information on that throughout the summer. Okay, we've got our final question that we'll answer live, and then we'll get to the rest in the queue there. We'll type some answers out, but our final question, once again, to our students, or if you're a past student of Western, we'd love to know what your most memorable experience is with an extracurricular activity. Maybe intramurals, could be varsity athletics, could be an internship, could be a job you had on campus. So what is your most memorable experience at Western?
Hi. For me, my favorite sort of extracurricular thing that I did was joining the Harry Potter Club on campus. I got to meet a lot of people in first year through that club, and I got sorted into Slytherin. And the following year, I ended up becoming head of Slytherin House. And so it was a really cool way to sort of get to know people and to make myself feel more confident, because I can be kind of shy. So when you're all together and you're celebrating something you think is cool, like you're going to like Slughorn's Christmas party or something, it's a lot of fun. So that would be my answer.
Seamus, thank you so much. I didn't know that there was a Harry Potter club on campus. I feel like I need to join that now. But we always joke that if you're interested in something here at Western, chances are a club exists. If it doesn't, create one. And I'm sure there's someone else here on campus that shares the same interest. So thank you so much. And I'll open it up to anyone else who'd like to share some of their memorable experiences.
I can go. So I graduated a while ago, but I wouldn't be working at Western if I didn't complete an internship. In my fourth year, I did media information and technoculture, and through the academic internship program, actually got an internship on campus doing communications. And here I am 10 years later doing communications on campus for a career. So definitely highly recommend experiential learning. It exists in every faculty, as Steph mentioned. And it's fantastic. And there's all kinds of different opportunities, whether you want, just something a little bit smaller or a 4, 8, 16-month internship. It's a really great opportunity to explore.
Thank you so much. And we're glad that internship worked out. We're glad you're back. And, very good point as well, that not everything has to be that, 8 or 12 or 16-month internship. There are other experiences that you can tailor into your degree. Community-based learning experiences, lots of options for you to get involved in those experiential learning opportunities in all the programs at Western. So thank you very much. I'll open it up. Maybe we can get 1 or 2 more responses, and then we'll close out our night here.
Yeah, I can go next. So there's a few things, because I've done a variety of different extracurriculars. But I would say the first thing that comes to mind is that I've made a lot of friends through extracurricular activities, and friends that I still have till this day. And it's also a really great networking opportunity, I find, because you'll connect with people who are from
different like fields of study, or they're maybe in their final year, or they're in their first year, or whatever it is. And so you meet a really wide variety of people. And I think that was really important to me because I'm from one of the faculties at Brescia. So to be able to like go and participate on extracurricular activities on main campus helped me meet more people that was just beyond the scope of Brescia and my classes and et cetera, et cetera. So that was a really great opportunity. And I find that it's a place where you can socialize as well. So you don't really feel like you're alone, and you feel like you can meet people and you can talk about things and share common interests and things like that. And I would say the second thing that comes to mind is like feeling a sense of importance and feeling a sense of like purpose, especially like nowadays with the extracurriculars that I'm taking part in. I feel like I'm helping other students, and they're also helping me, and we're learning from each other, and we're creating a lot of change on campus. And I think that's very meaningful too, to know that you're working towards something, especially for future students. So I think for those two reasons, it's really, really important to join extracurriculars. And I'm sure you're all gonna enjoy it, whatever it is that you're doing.
Thank you very much, Havina. And I'll pass it off. If there's one more of our panelists that would like to close out the evening and share their most memorable experience in extracurriculars here at Western.
Well, I can jump in next. So for me, the most memorable experience to join the English conversation program, which is organized by the international departments. So in that program, you get to meet people from other countries, and there is a facilitator who will open different topics to let us discuss, like what is the culture in Egypt, or what is the culture in China. In this way, we can have a diverse conversation with my peers. And for me, I got the opportunity to learn stories from different students. Like I want to learn what is the life as a PhD students. And then I got to learn those like detail their lives as a PhD student, because there is a member who is a PhD student. And I think the second memorable experience for me is to be able to give back to Western community, because right now I already learned all the resources like the writing support center or the academic support center. So in that community, we organize different events like free lunch event or those trivia night. In this way, I can help those students, and actually they also help me back. So I think the most memorable experience is just to offer some help or join some clubs or committees where you can work with other students with the same interest or goals. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Maggie. That was an excellent point you brought up at the end there about taking advantage of these extracurricular opportunities and them helping you, but then also giving back and helping out other future students at Western as well, I think is so important. And we just want to let you know, in terms of wellness and well-being, you did receive a lot of information tonight, but you can always stop by Thames Hall if you're on campus, or email at health@uwo.ca. There's no door is the wrong door. We're going to help you get connected and feel supported. So just wanted to put that out before the end of our evening tonight. Thank you to all of our panelists who shared their stories, especially this last one here on extracurriculars. I know they were very important to me as well. Getting involved in intramural sports kind of helped me get out of my shell a little bit and meet some new people, create some friendships, and just had an absolute blast playing them. So we hope you got all the information that you needed here tonight. But if questions arise later on, there's many ways to get connected with us. If you head to welcome.uwo.ca, there are a lot of ways to reach out. You can talk to us on Unibuddy. You can reach out on chat. There's emails there to connect with us. So we'd love to hear from you again if more questions come up. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to all of our volunteers for making this event possible, our staff, our students. I know this is a very busy time of year for you all, so we greatly appreciate you carving some time out of your Tuesday night to come and speak with all of our attendees. And of course, thank you to all of our attendees for participating in our polls and being so engaging this whole time through. We wish you the best of luck on your journey to university. Hopefully we'll see you here at Western in the fall, and we hope you have a great night. So thank you again, folks. Take care.